Ginu Joseph, Global Group Editor of Modern Business Network and Modern Plastics Network, here at Mumbai with Mr. Erik Solheim. He doesn't need an introduction globally, not only in India. And if you ask me, you ask him any questions about environment. So he's with us today in Mumbai. Thank you so much for joining us in Mumbai, and we welcome you to today's episode. Thank you so much. Mr. Erik, could you please tell about the current scenario of climate change, where people talk about climate change and environment. What is your opinion about how we can change the current situation or current scenario to a positive way?
People everywhere are now feeling the pain of climate change, wildfires, extreme weather, extreme flooding. The extreme flooding in Pakistan last year, February, was the hottest month on record in India. But I'm much more interested in the solutions than in the problem. And the solutions are now all available. We have all the win-win policies. We have all the technology, all the policies, all the finances we need to solve the problem. If we move from coal into solar, not just it's much better for planet Earth, but it's also much better for the economy and creating more jobs. If we go into ecotourism, we create many more jobs while doing good for the planet. Tamil Nadu will increase its tree cover by 10%. Madhya Pradesh just declared itself the tiger state of India. This will bring more people to the states, create more jobs. And if India now move from the old-style gasoline polluting vehicles into electric buses, electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, we create many more jobs, and India can even capture markets for Mahindra or Tata or Ola globally.
As you said, changing from current fuel system to, I saw some of your posts talking about farms of solar energy and windmill, and you go globally and find so many things. So how do you see the future? Because as you said, as of now a challenge is plastic. Similarly, after 20 years, where will the lithium batteries will be a challenge, I think. Also the windmills is going to be a challenge. Also the solar energies films will be a challenge. How do you see, or do you have an idea that how we can solve this problem in the next 20 years?
Absolutely. The solar industry will expand enormously everywhere. You will see massive solar farms. They're already coming in southern India and Rajasthan, in Madhya Pradesh, other parts of India. And you have all the rooftop solar and roofs in cities and farmhouses, parking lots everywhere. So you see a massive expansion of solar because it's the cheapest energy everywhere in the world. If we move into solar, more jobs, better jobs, or jobs for women, while saving money, while at the same time, of course, much better for the environment. But you're absolutely right. We need to recycle the solar panels when we don't use them any longer. When we move into electric batteries for electric cars, of course, we need to recycle the batteries at the end of their lifespan. But that is happening, and it will happen. APRA, a company based in Uttarakhand in India, is now setting up a facility in Hyderabad which will recycle electric batteries at the end use. So I'm very, very optimistic that we will move into a circular economy for solar panels and for electric batteries, where we use them at the end for new materials.
Plastic is a challenge globally people are speaking about. How do you see what is the solution? And currently, because I traveled around and found that there is solution, but I think problem is something else, the collection or the management. And how do you see how we can change this?
When plastic was introduced in America in the 1950s, it was seen as the miracle material. There are so many good uses for plastic. But then we started abusing it, and plastic has absolutely zero role to play in nature. It's killing whales, it's killing cows, it's killing turtles, it's killing seabirds. It needs to be wiped out from nature. How do we do this? By a triple strategy. Number one, avoid and refuse all the plastic products we do not need. That's why Prime Minister Modi has put a ban on single-use plastics in India. We don't need straws, we don't need plastic cutlery, we don't need plastic glass. We can use other materials for all these. Secondly, to reuse, if plastic can be reused, that is good, or if it can be replaced by other more natural material. Say a straw can be, or plastic can be replaced by a straw from bamboo, or you can use a banana leaf as the plate. There are so many other materials we can use, and we can make plastic similar to plastic from sugar canes or for potatoes or many other materials. And then there will be a massive amount of plastic which we do need, say to make the cars light or the aircraft light and solid, so that they're using less gasoline, or say to protect food so we can conserve it for longer, or say to protect against diseases like during COVID. All the plastic we do need must be brought in and recycled, and there is a heavy responsibility for the business to work with government to make sure that we have the recycling facilities everywhere.
We saw many FMCG companies are converting, the packaging into very thin layer packaging, MLP, multi-layer packaging. Do you think it should be avoided and converted into a single layer packaging or a sustainable packaging in the coming days?
Yes, definitely multi-layer packaging seems to be the most difficult to recycle, so we should move into much more of mono material. A number of the big chemical companies are now working on that, how to make mono plastics more efficient. But whatever, whether it's mono or multi-layer, it needs to be brought in and to be recycled, and that can only happen if we combine the regulatory power of governments by extended producer responsibility, by the enormous scaling power and technological power of industry, which will find the solutions as to how we do recycling large scale. I'm not so impressed if you run a small project in a village. There are 700,000 villages in India. If you are Prime Minister Modi, you need to find a solution for all of them. So we need scalable industry style solutions.
What message you want to give it to the plastic industry and the common people? Because user is common people and the manufacturer is plastic industry. And as you said, EPR, extended producer responsibility, is responsibility of big group companies. So what message you want to give it to such organizations?
The message to the plastic industry is very, very clear. If you want your industry to survive, if you want an industry not to be just for a short period of time, but to survive to 2050, even longer, you need to take care of the problem which is caused by plastic in nature, plastic in ocean, plastic in river, plastic in all those places where plastic has no role to play. You need to get rid of it from nature. And only with the enormous power of the industries, this can happen in collaboration with government. So please find the better materials which are more easy to recycle, and help governments to set up large-scale recycling facilities.
Thank you, Erik, for joining us and giving your valuable insight. And I know that you are traveling across the country in different time, and I'm sure it is going to change. India is changing in a very fast way beyond people's imagination, and I'm sure that the recycling and upcycling will be much better than any country in the world in India. I can promise you this, because after seeing so many. So thank you so much, and we wish you all the best. Thank you so much.